Shabbat Shalom. This is Rabbi Jeff Dennis coming to you from the Circle of Light at Congregation Kol Ami. Kol Ami wants to extend its greetings to all of our congregants, all of our visitors of all genders, and all the ships at sea. We are once again gathered here to celebrate and honor Shabbat, but it's a very, very special Shabbat because this is the Sisterhood Shabbat. The Sisterhood is a powerful arm of the congregation, one that achieves so many good and brings so much blessing into our lives. So it's a good segue into good and blessing. So my good and blessing for this week is that we're celebrating the wonderful Sisterhood group. Now, we have a couple of good and blessings already lined up to report to you, but if you have additional ones, I'm going to invite anybody in the room and also anybody who's out there to post them on chat. So we begin with the good and blessing of our wonderful minyan that has gathered here so that we can achieve an in-person minyan, and that would be Don and Helena Dawsey, Bob and Becky Leonard, Brandy Hunter, Sarah McCrory, Elizabeth Kennedy, Sarah Muniz, and Mia, right? You qualify too. So, yep. So we're delighted to have them all here with us. We also want to recognize that quite a number of congregants had a birthday last week. So we're thinking of Elaine Barnett and Rebecca Boardman, Kaylee Budd, one of our younger congregants, Diana Castro, Micah Dennis, not such a small congregant, Jordan Hoffman, Eliza Milner, Izzy Roberts, wherever she may be, somewhere in the Northwest, Caroline Ulanovsky, and Melissa Zane. And as for anniversaries, again, somewhere off there in the Northwest, we want to recognize the anniversary of Chad and Carrie Roberts. So who else in the room has a good and blessing to share with our community? Helena. Isn't it, haven't we all become bird watchers? I pay much more attention to the little critters than I used to, and Robin has attempted to create Wild Kingdom in the backyard. So it's a real delight to be able to watch birds. And I've never really gotten bird watching until this year. Now I sort of get it. Who else has a good and blessing? Becky?
Thanks to a friend who's given me a box of extra fish fillets that she would be able to get through, so be able to cook some fish over the weekend.
Oh, fantastic fish fillets. Again, as I've said, it's the small things that make for a good and blessing. And it's fish and chips all around. So that's fantastic. Anybody else have a good and blessing to offer? Anybody online? Nope. Okay, so I'm just going to add one more. It should not be a good and blessing, but it's turned out to be a good and blessing. So some things have broken in my house. You know, I wore out my bicycle freewheel only to face the crisis that you can't get replacement parts anymore. So I ordered one that said it would be here October 5th, and it showed up the day before yesterday. So I'm very happy about that. Then our lower air conditioning unit, the one that serves the lower part of the house, that's breaking down. Not good, not good. So my air conditioning guy said, we're gonna order you a new one, but it may take weeks because they're in short supply. I currently have 2 machines sitting in my driveway. I mean, how blessed is that, right? Now, one of them is gonna have to be retrieved, but I mean, we live in an age of miracles and wonders. So with that aside, we're going to turn this over to the president of our sisterhood, Sarah McCrory, and she is going to lead us tonight. Come on up, Sarah.
Thank you, Rabbi. And thank you, everybody, for being here. It's very exciting to have the Sisterhood Shabbat finally. First order of business, of course, is going to be lighting the candles. And for that, I would like to invite up our Vice President, Sarah Muniz.
Illumine our hearts. Light is the symbol of the divine. Adonai is
On
on
my
our
light
Uh-oh.
and my salvation.
Light is the symbol of the divine spark within us.
The
Human spirit is the light of God.
Light is the symbol of the divine.
And the Torah is a light. I, Adonai, have made you a covenant people, a light to the nations.
Blessed is Adonai our God, who ruleth in Israel, who made us holy with your guidance, and commanded us to live the light Shabbat.
Yeah, that's okay. You can start there, but can you relight them? They went out. They just did not want to stay lit tonight, I guess. Okay, thank you. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted.
On Shabbat,
We stand in wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world is our goal. Therefore, we welcome Shabbat, a day of rest and holiness, joy and peace. A woman is a multifaceted being. She begins as a daughter and then she becomes many things: a sister, a girlfriend, a wife, a second wife, a mother, a career woman, a nurturer, a caregiver, a divorcee, a single parent, a widow, single by choice, single by chance, half a couple, a grandmother, alone. She is pulled in many different directions and is confronted by multiple choices, some thrust upon her and not by her own volition. And every once in a while, she justifiably asks, "When is it time for me?" As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. And the blessings give us strength and make our visions clear. And the blessings give us peace and the courage to dare. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed.
יתגדל ויתקדש מרבה, בעלמא יברא ירצה וימליך מלכותי, וחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בגלה בגלה, ובזמן קריב, ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר וירומם וינשא, ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל, שמי קדושה ברכו, לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, נמירן בעלמא, ויאמרו אמן.
Please rise.
La
Praise be Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, whose word brings on the evening. Your wisdom opens the gates of heaven. Your understanding makes the ages pass and the seasons alternate. Your will controls the stars on their path through the sky. You are creator of day and night, alternating light with darkness and darkness with light. You cause the day to pass and bring on the night, setting day and night apart. You are the director of the heavenly host. May the living and eternal God rule us always to the end of time. Blessed is Adonai, whose word brings on the evening. Unending is your love for your people, the house of Israel. Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts you have taught us. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and rejoice in your Torah and mitzvot forever.
Day
And night we reflect on them, for they are our life and the length of our days. And your love shall never depart from our hearts. Blessed is Adonai, who loves your people Israel.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed.
And now I would like to, oh, y'all can sit down now, sorry. Now I would like to invite up Miss Helena Shapdasi to lead us in the Via Hafta.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha, vidibarta bam, vishivtecha bevetecha, uvlechtecha vaderech, uvshach bacha uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, vehayu letotafot beinenecha, uchtavtam Amazuzot beitecha uvisharecha lemantis kuru vasitem et kol mitzvotai vitem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem Me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem lelohim, ani Adonai Elohechem. Please read with me in English. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Set these words which I command you this day upon your heart. Teach them faithfully to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them be a symbol before your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. You will be mindful of all my mitzvot and do them. So shall you make yourselves holy to your God. I am Adonai your God, who led you out of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai your God.
And now I'd like to invite up Elizabeth Kennedy to lead us.
In the beginning, God gave us breath and the courage to begin life on earth. Where does our strength come from? What gives us strength and courage? God works miracles with a strong hand, but with the Egyptian army in pursuit, Moses took a breath, held out his arm over the sea, and a strong east wind blew all night and turned the sea to dry ground. In the dark, we wait for deliverance from Mitzrayim, the narrow place to enter the promised land. God's Spirit through the night brings peace, rest, and courage to walk into the sea on dry land through the roiling walls of water on each side. We face the fears that challenge us. We give breath to calm the fear that enwraps us. We draw strength from our community. We cheer each other on.
Please join me. Grant our eternal God that we may lie down in peace and raise us up, our sovereign, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel, and for your name's sake, be our help. Guard our coming and our going, that now and always may we have life and peace. Blessed is Adonai, who spreads your sukkah of peace over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Please rise.
Adonai, sefata tiftahu fi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips and my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor V'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zoher Hasdei Avot Ve'imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו ואהבה, מלך עוזר מושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת צעד. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב והושיע. מהקל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. תומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומחיים אמונתו לישני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדום אליו, מלך ממית ומחיה ישועה, למען אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מלך הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, קדושים וטוב יום יבדו הסלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
You can be seated. You again for using who?
ישמחו במלכותיה, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותיה, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. מקדשי שביעי שבת. כולם ישמעו ויתגעו בטוב השבת. ישמחו במלכותיה, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותיה, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. ובשביעי רצית בו וקדשו שבת. חמדת ימים אותו קראת שבת. ישמחו במלכותיה, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותיה, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. זה למעשה בראשית שבת. זה למעשה בראשית שבת. ישמחו במלכותיה, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותיה, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת.
May the peace of Shabbat bring us close to you, that by it we may hallow your name. And at this time, I would like to invite up Brandy to lead us in prayer. And I'm sorry because I just blanked on your last name. Hunter, Brandy Hunter. Thank you.
May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. I offer a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can feel my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other. To work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created, and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of joy and of peace and joy, to that illume all of us, and to bring that vision to life.
שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניה לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. ואמרו אמן.
I would like to go ahead and invite up Becky Leonard to give any announcements, if there are any, and to lead us in Mishubera.
Good evening, both to our in-person minion and those out on Zoom land. Welcome to making it to Friday of another week of what I continue to call Groundhog Day Revisited. Announcements, it's the middle of summer, which for Congregation Kol Ami tends to mean that it's a slower time for us, thank goodness. We are just starting to think about High Holy Day planning in religious schools, so please over the next few weeks. Just give us a little bit more time and we'll be communicating how that all is going to work. We just had a board meeting on it Wednesday evening. So we are slowly but surely getting there. Torah and Tefillah continues tomorrow morning at 10. And then next Friday night, even though Rabbi's back from vacation, we just kind of shoved him off to the sidelines for a little bit. He was supposed to take a month. He couldn't keep still. So he's back, but he's not really back. The nifty high school kids will be leading services next week. So we're very excited that they've stepped up in the middle of summer to take time away from their swimming and gaming to focus on religious. So we're excited for that next Friday as well. Other than that, it is pretty much same old, same old. We will just continue with services, and we don't know when we'll be opening the sanctuary back up for full services. So just as you want to be here for, to say Yisker for any of your family, please just make sure to sign up on the minion so that we know who is coming. So with that, I'll just move quickly into Mishra Beirach. Is there anyone here in the congregation that has a name for the list, or as I'm going around the room, if anybody's out on the video tonight that has a name they'd like to share with us, please type it in and Bob will let us know. Thank you.
Jody Hoffman and Drew Mosley.
Thank you. As is our custom at Congregation Kol Ami, we continue to offer for those in need of healing, Anna Binder, Sid Binder, Dave Cook, Gordon Ellison, Tammy Ferris, Michelle Griffith, Mel Gross, Ken Hirschman, Jody Hoffman, Judy Hurwitz, Deb Kaufman, Alex Koenig, Lauren Koenig, Bill Lee, Sandy Lensner, Stanley Levy, Teresa Morgan, Judy Morasic, Don Neal, Herbert Paley, Adrian Sandler, and Myra Schuschler, and Susie Vincent. If you would join me on page 11 of the prayer book, we'll do Misha Beirach. Me. Very close.
May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say amen.
So normally at Sisterhood Shabbat, we would kind of say goodbye to the outgoing board members and go ahead and install the new ones. This year is a little bit different for a couple of reasons. Of course, the first one being that they are mostly not here. I do have a few here, which is awesome. But because we're trying to keep our distance, we'll just go ahead and let everybody kind of stay where they are. And I'm going to go ahead and list off everybody's names in the end. The other reason it's different is because nobody is changing. So we're not really saying goodbye to any of our board members. They're staying on. We are adding a new one, which I'll tell you about here in a few minutes when I do that. I'm going to kind of skip the part about dismissing the old board members since we're not doing that. But what I would like to do, I'd like to take a few minutes and talk about sisterhood. Not the group, but the idea of sisterhood, the bonds of sisterhood, and the future that I would like to see with the women of Kol Ami. When Steve sent out the request for coverage for July's Shabbat services, it wasn't a coincidence that I chose this week. I chose this week on purpose. This week is the anniversary of Kevin's death. It'll be 1 year on Monday, actually. I don't bring that up to bring everybody down or gain sympathy. Lord knows I've had enough of that over the last year. What I bring it up as an example of the bond that this community has and the good that can happen when we all work together. For those that may not know, Kevin was my ex-husband. His passing was the biggest shock of my life. But this congregation brought us dinners. They were there to support us. And when I needed to clean out his apartment in a hurry, I think we must have had 30 people, all from this awesome congregation, helping pack, load, move stuff out. I needed help, and this congregation was there in full force. The point is that we're a close-knit group, and I love that. I want to see that in sisterhood, but even more. Everybody gets so busy in their own lives, work, kids, activities, etc. And I'm guilty of it too. Sometimes weeks will go by and I realize that I haven't spoken to a single friend. But what we really forget is how important it is to have our girlfriends, other women to hang out with, talk to, vent to, trade recipes, trade babysitting, whatever it is, we need each other. The other thing that I think we don't realize is how lucky we are to have this community of Jewish sisters around us. My daughter, Rachel, is in college, as most of you probably know. Before she chose this school, I mentioned to her that she might want to check to see if there's a Jewish community there. She said, I don't care about that. What difference does that make? So far, she spent one school year on campus, almost a whole school year. And while she is very excited to go back to school and see her friends next month, she did mention to me how she really wished that there were other Jews on campus. Sometimes you just want to hang with other Jews. I mean, why not? We're the coolest ones, right? So the point is, we have each other. We're right here. Even if it has to be virtually for now, we're still here. So one of my goals for this year is to come up with events that will grow the bonds within the sisterhood. I'm not exactly sure when we will be able to meet in person again, but even if it has to be virtually, I want us all to get to know each other better. Here's an idea. Look at the sisterhood roster and randomly call somebody that you don't know very well. Just see how they're doing. Hopefully they'll ask you how you're doing. Get to know each other better. How much more fun would our events be if we were all good friends? And let's have more of us. I would love to see every woman of CKA join the sisterhood. Dues aren't that high, $36 a year, that's all. Even though this year still has kind of a big question mark over it as far as what kind of events we'll be able to have, please consider joining or rejoining the sisterhood anyway. Our dues go to more than just activities and sisterhood events. The sisterhood provides scholarships for religious school and Green Family Camp. We help out when the congregation needs something like new ovens, for example. We run the gift shop. Well, if I'm being honest, the majority of the credit for that goes to Betty Gross. She is awesome. The point is, sisterhood is an integral part of this congregation, and I would love to see as many of you as possible involved. And with that, I would like to go ahead and introduce the awesome board members that helped to make CKA Sisterhood what it is and what it will grow to be. So we have 2 at-large members. We have Elizabeth Kennedy, and our brand new member is Roxanne Eber, Treasurer Arlene Webman, Secretary Diane Seligman, Communications Officer Carly Wisniewski, and Vice President Sarah Muniz, and I will stay on as president. Psalm 96, recited during Kabbalat Shabbat, invokes in us the desire to sing a new song to the Lord. Renew yourselves, all people on earth. We are asked to let go of whatever has dominated our week and find a new song, a new melody for Shabbat. With you, the new executive officers, or still executive officers, we hope as we embrace each Shabbat with a sense of renewal that you approach your position as sisterhood officers similarly and enthusiastically. In closing, I want to share the poem Sabbath Prayer by Ruth Bryn. Dear God, help us now to make this a new Shabbat. After noise, we seek quiet. After crowds of indifferent strangers, we seek to touch those we love. After concentration on work and responsibility, we seek freedom to meditate, to listen to our inward selves. We open our eyes to the hidden beauties and the infinite possibilities in the world you are creating. We break open the gates of the reservoirs of goodness and kindness in ourselves and in others. We reach toward one holy, perfect moment of Shabbat. Okay, and then Sarah, do you want to come and help me open up the ark for Elena? Please rise. Sorry, y'all need that.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצון, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוצר הארץ, ומושב יקרה בשמיים עמהן, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אינו, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום בהשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מזרח אינו. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד,
ושמו אחד. 'Tis a fearful thing to love what death can touch, a fearful thing to love and to hope, to dream, to be and oh to lose. A thing of fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your words a gift to me. To remember this brings painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing, to love what death has touched. And so we take time now at this holy moment to think about all of our loved ones who have passed away, whether it be recently or this season in years past. And we begin by invoking those who are in Shiva. We have no one formally posted at the congregation, which is a good thing, but I'm going to check around the room, and if there's anybody out there, yes, please, Becky. Thank you. Anybody out in our virtual community with a Shiva to report? For Shloshim, we are thinking of Anthony Brill, the brother-in-law of Alyssa Dukar, and Alan Merkler, the father of Lori Applebaum. Is there anybody here? You've lost someone the last 30 days. No? Anybody online? All right. This week, we want to remember these individuals connected to our community in their yard site at the anniversary of their death. Linda Cohen, Jack Diamond, Ada Duder, Marilyn Friedman, Lillian Levin, Mandel Lewin, Shirley Shipman, and Sophie Watt. Is there anybody else aware of a yard site in their family or among their loved ones? Anybody out there? All right. So together we want to honor these people by rising together and to recite Kaddish. If you have our purple prayer book at home, you're on page 85. We join together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah be'alma divrach hirute v'yamlich malchute v'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael bagalal u'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'elam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shmei d'kudsha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah mim shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mrama hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort all the bereaved among us, and let us say amen. So for our closing song, Hine Matov. It's a little aspirational right now, how good it is and wonderful for us to be able to sit together in peace. But it's a good thing to aspire to. That's right. So. To invite Sarah and Lindsay to lead us in Kiddush to celebrate the advent of Shabbat. Come on over here. We're going to turn the camera over to this side of the bima. The cup's right there, and you stay there. And yep.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei bari hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzah banu, v'shabat kodsho v'ahava uvratzah hinhilanu. Zikaron lema'aseh b'reishit, ki hu yom tehilah lemikra'ei kodesh, zeher letziat Mitzrayim. Ki banu v'aharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinhaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amen.
L'chaim. Now we come to the most exciting of all the things going on, which is the motzi and the passing of the bread. Now, I take comfort in the fact that I probably couldn't do any worse than Dr. Anthony Fauci. All right? So that was impressive. Yet, I think we have a better pitching hand in this room. Max, how are you at throwing a ball? What's your eye hand for you?
Throwing a bread.
It's an underhand throw, but come on up here. I'm going to have Max do this. All right? So we're going to say a blessing for the bread, and then Max is going to gently, but fiercely, fiercely, toss this to the people in the various corners of the room. You ready? You think you can do that? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. So I think you should begin by practicing on your own family. Nice. All right. Yeah, okay, you're going to keep passing it. Go ahead. Three to the back. Ready, go. Oh, yes, yes. Amazing. All right, now, moderate to Brandy. She got it. All right. Now to the Dawsons. Nicely done. And oh, hey. No coaching for the farm. All right, now Molly's a challenge, but you've done your family, so. Nice. All right, we'll put that down to Molly. All right.
Oh, well, it's definitely my fault. It's not.
Okay. A little high and wide, but that's okay. Now, yes, go ahead, Miss Elizabeth. Ooh, okay. All right. And then Eli. Good. Nice. All right. That's an easy one. There we go. And what?
And one for Max.
And one for Max. So there we go. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Thank you.